welcome. I guess we'll start now. Thanks a lot for being here at this early hour. And today, ahead of us, there's a very exciting half a day. And as you know, yesterday we have already started with some good examples on plastic circularity, and today we will fully focus on good practices. We will see how in many different projects, how they are tackling the climate, plastic pollution. And at the beginning now, we will have a 10 minutes overview of yesterday's sessions. So, Ezgi, başlıyoruz. And I will give the floor first to Mamuka to summarize the first two sessions. Then I guess Nina is also here. Maybe Nina, would you like to come to the stage? Then Nina will summarize the second part of yesterday. Okay, Mamuka.
Thank you, Barış. It was a pleasure listening to first two sessions, opening and the first session, and it's very difficult to summarize in a few words. Of course, our meeting platform was opened by Barış, and he had the key messages, mentioned all the stakeholders, and I think after mentioning also the problems we experience in the region, demanded the peace in the Black Sea region. In the next present opening speech, Elisabetta Balzi, head of unit of DJ Research and Innovation, she introduced the Mission Ocean, highlighted the marine litter is an important part of this mission, also called on us to join the EU survey to adhere to Mission Charter, and this is online, and really called on everybody to do this. Mentioned that Maria Gabriel acknowledged and endorsed the Mission Charter, the commissioner, and also congratulated Metu of being now part of the Mission Ocean officially. She continued describing the Mission Ocean and talked about the 100 lighthouse communities, and slogan was not to think about what Black Sea can do for you, but what you can do for the Black Sea. Christos Economou, head of unit of DJ Mare, welcomed the SRIA, the Black Sea Connect project, the CMA, highlighted that despite COVID and the war in the region, we still persevere and nothing on hold. That was a declaration of the European Commission. Opportunities there are for Mission Ocean, called about the platform on blue economy, synergies. So these are the key messages coming from Mr. Economou. Ambassador Lazar Comanescu, he welcomed the partners, talked about the 30th anniversary of the BSEC, which is coming shortly, and expressed that the goodwill and the wisdom will prevail in the region to overcome difficulties. He talked about the marine litter and also promised that Rosica will talk about the details of the marine litter engagement of the BSEC. And again, at the end of the speech, he called the guy again on the wisdom to implement the things efficiently, and BSEC is ready to support the implementation issues on marine litter. Irina Makarenko elaborated on the marine litter developments in the region. She liked that we are meeting live and offline, but online are also watching our colleagues. Talked about the Black Sea Commission, welcoming the discussions of marine litter, and called on support for the Black Sea Commission in this endeavor. And the Black Sea Commission is doing things. The Commission approved the action plan for the Black Sea, for marine litter, and actually asked the support of the scientific community for the for the approval of the marine litter guidelines, which was developed together with the UNEP partners, and our region is very thankful to UNEP to Mediterranean for helping us with the marine litter issues. And again, she talked about the Ukraine and the tragic event in Istanbul, and called Istanbul her second home. And she now has a trouble, a small, she hoped trouble, but still it was unpleasant, of course. Ziggy Gruber had an enlightening presentation on the applicability of Mission Ocean for the Black Sea, and talked about that. They showed the plastics flying there as banners, but she said that this banner will be there for 500 years and more, and it's a shame. That's what the word he called on the plastic. And another point to highlight, it was that Danube is bringing 4 tons daily into the Black Sea, so which is a scary amount, and probably the Danube is not the largest source, probably. True enabler, she talked about the digital twin of the oceans, and this is forthcoming, and even the president of the European Commission talks about this, and called us, the Ziggy called us, stay tuned for the digital twins of the earth and of the oceans. This is forthcoming by 2024. That's a commitment by the European Commission. Talked about the hydrosphere and people and the synergies needed. The synergies was a big word in this presentation. Introduced several instruments available there and lighthouses, and they talked about the lighthouses. And Danube means the Black Sea in this case. So Black Sea is a part of these 4 lighthouse communities. The mission was compared to Me Too movement for the Black Sea. Well, there was an very interesting scientific statement of the facts on marine litter in Ulgen Aytan's presentation. She said that the Black Sea is enclosed sea, 21 countries, and 171 million people are draining into it. 85% is marine litter. I confirm, please come to my stand, I will show that it's even more, probably 90% is the plastic on our beaches. And her presentation, she based her judgment on the Marine Litter Watch portal of the European Environmental Agency, and said that looks like among all the seas addressed there, the Black Sea seems most polluted with the marine litter. And then this pollution is increasing from west to east. We in Turkey, Georgia, and Russian Federation should think about this, because this part of the Black Sea seems more polluted. And her presentation further was scary. She talked about the impact of the plastic on the single-use plastic, which is a soup, which is a very bad soup in the Black Sea. And she talked about the macroplastic, but also the microplastic, something less than 5 millimeters, and even microscopic in the form of fibers and the microparticles. And these things go into the water column, into the deep sediments. Even the deep sea sediments contain plastic, she said. Sources of plastic are multiple. Even the dolphins on a higher trophic level are consuming ultimately this plastic. And about the seabirds, we do not even know what is happening. She talked about the plaston, the new term, which is the plastic and plankton. And she said that this term was coined in the Black Sea, and now probably is applicable globally, but it's a pity that we are the source of this really the nice term. The word nice sounds nicely, but this means that the synthetic substance that goes into the marine life, it's the plastic impact sinking rates of even addresses the reflectivity of the sea, has an impact on the climate change. So not only the biota, and it becomes the part of the food web, finally goes into the anchovies, which is consumed by the people and consumed by the marine life. So this was, I would say, the scary presentation. Then Christos Lykedemis from Mediterranean Action Plan introduced what Mediterranean region is doing, and there is a very nice cooperation between the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. There is a memorandum of understanding, and he introduced in detail the development of the marine litter instruments in the Mediterranean, and looks like we in the Black Sea follow almost the same steps, like development of the regional the Marine Litter Action Plan, which is happily approved by the Black Sea Commission, but the guidelines is on the move. We hope that the Black Sea Commission will quickly approve the guidelines. Yeah, he mentioned about the series of support the European Commission is providing for this cooperation. And in the second phase of cooperation, it was interesting to hear that the Ukraine and Georgia are eligible countries. So we are very happy to hear, at least in Georgia, and I'm sure in Ukraine also, to hear that. Finally, so there was a nice session of the Black Sea Young Ambassadors. They made their pitch, Salome Kopaidze, Selma Menabit, and Elena, sorry for that. But they described what they're doing. They talked about the Black Sea Annual Forum, social media channels they apply, International Black Sea Day actions they celebrate, and they promote and make the awareness days, including issues on the climate change also. And local activities are in all countries proceeded, like Selma Menabit referred to the Georgian the activities spearheaded by Salome Kobaidze. There was a nice question and answer session. At the end of the session, the Evangelis Papathanassiou, who nicely moderated the first session of our meeting, said at the end that he counted 70 times that he himself mentioned connected. And he called us all to stay connected and act connected. And that's all I wanted to tell you. And thank you, the Black Sea Connect, for talking the talk and walking the walk, because the goods we received, and I really wanted to show it probably for the audience, is really probably the best presents I've get on the meetings, because it's not full of plastic, it's empty of plastic, and there are a lot of nice things there in a small package, which I will use for years. So thank you for that. The memories of this minute will stay longer. Thank you.
I have the pleasure to present the second session, which was really interesting with great speakers. I will be very fast, trying to summarize the key notes of these presentations. What we heard yesterday was that we have really worrying trends about increased pollution of plastic, increased use of plastic, and huge amounts of plastic entering the sea every minute. Unfortunately, plastic waste is everywhere. It sinks and floats in dumps on the beaches. And of course, plastics, microplastics and chemicals are of potential concern for human health and environmental health. And a very limited part of plastic waste is recycled in practice, and a significant part is mismanaged. We are happy that we have a solution, although these worrying trends. Firstly, I have to mention the prevention, that is the most important. Also recycling, innovative cleaning technologies, cleanup systems, globally coordinated actions, and it is very important to take science-based decisions on the treatment of this plastic waste. Effective policy is really important, and its implementation. And as a result, we can have enhanced circularity and reduction of plastic pollution. So all of us, we have to be aware, we have to be active, and we have to be responsible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mamuka. Thank you, Nina. And I would like to invite Irina Stancu for the moderation of the next session, which is on good practices. And I would like to remind you that please feel free to prepare your questions. There will be question and answer session at the end of each session, but also at the end, during the panel will be interactive, so you can also ask questions there. Okay, Irina, please.
Thank you. As we acknowledge the marine litter as one of the main stressors of the Black Sea is suffering from, and yesterday we got updated assessments on this issue and insights, very useful insights on the available policy tools. The Good Practices session aims to present at least some of the actions already in place for a healthy, plastic-free and resilient Black Sea. It is my very pleasure to salute all these initiatives. My name is Irina Stanciu and I am a researcher at GeoEcomar Romania, working on marine geology and geoecology, so the environment is kind of my job. It is my pleasure to invite on stage Rosița Stoeva, Executive Manager in charge of Project Management, BISEC Permis, Fedra Francocci of the National Research Council of Italy, and Luis Vieira, researcher at the Interdisciplinary Center of Marine and Environmental Research. The first speaker of the session, Ms. Rosița Stoeva, of the Organization of the Black Sea Economic Cooperation, will present Black Sea React.
All right. Good morning, dear Connect partners, dear Meto friends, dear participants. It's really my pleasure to be here today and address this high-level marine litter action forum. It was mentioned by the BISEC Permis Secretary General Ambassador Lazar Comanescu yesterday at an official opening that in recent years the BISEC Secretariat is actively and successfully involved in quite a number of projects related to marine litter environment, to marine litter as a general, and including fighting marine plastics and in the Black Sea. All right, I can manage myself, this is good. The BISEC Permis was approved, and this is actually for the first time in our history, to receive direct grant from Directorate General for Neighborhood and Enlargement Negotiations, as you know it as DG NEAR, to receive this direct grant under the EU Regional Action Platform from 2019, with the aim to strengthen the project implementation capacity of the BISEC organization in its role as facilitator of dialogue and cooperation in the region. And with this grant, we manage, and we are still implementing, 3 very important projects. One is on transport, sustainable small-scale boating in the Black Sea. We can also let's say, connected with culture as well. Environmental protection, pilot activities on fighting microplastics and marine litter in the Black Sea. And last but not least, the youth entrepreneurship, supporting youth entrepreneurship in cultural tourism for coastal municipalities in the Black Sea region. And here I can mention that we are very well cooperating with the female part, let's put it like that, from Meto University. Meto Institute. So the grant contract was signed end of 2020. This is actually 2 years project which commenced last year in January 2021 and keep us busy during the pandemic. So it will last until December 2022, and so we have one month and a half in front of us to finalize the deliverables. But really, we are really happy that we have this chance to implement this very, very good project. So, of course, I'm here today to talk about pilot activities for fighting microplastics and marine litter in the Black Sea, or we call it Black Sea React project. Of course, we cannot use all those, the long title, so it's for those 3 projects we found this, the short version. So this one we call it Black Sea React, which actually aims to contribute to the regional dialogue on mitigating and effectively tackling marine pollution and marine litter in the Black Sea, while at the same time seeking innovative solutions to salient problems. The project, and yesterday I started explaining to Maraj, who was sitting on my right side in the room, that actually we built on the results of the high-level conference on interbasin cooperation and marine litter, focus on Danube River in the Black Sea, which we host in 2019 together with ICBSS, with the support of the European Commission, as well as with a small grant from the Central European Initiative Cooperation Fund. And from this conference, we came up with a very good ideas. So the conference shows and debates and proceedings acknowledged during the conference, that marine litter is cross-border problem, which makes its management difficult and highly dependent on good regional and, of course, international collaboration between the littoral countries, as well as awareness raising. And it came to our mind that we can do something in this regard, of course, with the help of the European Commission. And we thank you for that. Led by us, by the BSEC Permis, and the partners in the implementation of the projects are Sarıyer Municipality, which is our host municipality where the BSEC headquarters is. And I would like to thank one of the representatives here with us today, Irem Hanım. Thank you very much for your support, constant support, and regards to the mayor. We are also cooperating with Gamma Recycling Factory, as well as with our related bodies, ICBSS, International Center for Black Sea Studies. Here I would like also to share with you that we, and this is also a very good development, we receive also a small grant provided by the US government through their Consulate General in Istanbul in their capacity of associated partner. The target group of our project includes municipalities from the Black Sea littoral countries, their respective fishing communities, primary school students, and young people from the targeted area. All right. So what we did? What was our method of implementation? Actually, this method was based on three main groups of activities. First one, it's on the, you can see that. It's a pile of innovative and practical solution in order to address marine litter. What we did here? We had this small-scale collection of all fishing nets and related marine litter in our host municipality in Sarıyer. Actually, the official was launched on the 15th of June. As you can see, the boat here, some photos. We did it on the 15th of June. The launching event took place aboard a cruiser in the Bosphorus water, hosted by municipality of Sarıyer, and with the participation of the mayor, our Secretary General, US Consul General, several guests from the Istanbul Diplomatic Corps. And with us was the Turkish world champion in freediving and advocate of clean sea, Ms. Shahika Erjumen, who graciously accepted to support the relevant activities of the Secretariat and performed a symbolic diving in the Bosphorus and collected abandoned fishing nets from the seabed. You can see she found something even on this, symbolic diving. So afterwards, of course, this process didn't start with that. Didn't stop with that. We continue collecting some fishing nets and marine litter, with, of course, again, with the help of Sarıyer Municipality. And with the help of local fishermen association, it took us 2 or 3 months to collect around 4 tons of different kind of materials, let's put it like that. And in order to do more, we engage Gamma Recycling. This is one of the biggest recycling company, to help us to convert the collected nets and marine litter into useful items for daily life, like children's toys, t-shirts, and even blankets. So as I told you, we collected around 4 tons of materials, which were transported with Gamma trucks to their factory in Gümüşova, 2 hours distance from Istanbul, and so they were converted accordingly, as I said. I will show you afterwards the video. So, when it comes to second element of our method of implementation, it was related to, and it's still related to, awareness raising about the issue of marine litter, and especially the recycling of plastic among the younger generation. So what we did here, we created an educational school kit. You can see on the second photo. We created an educational school kit in the languages of participating countries. So this kit contains a book, a diary, a recycled bag, a pin, and a sticker. We call this story Ato and the Clean Sea. It's unique, according to us. We created it for the purposes of the project. And it has been produced in English and Turkish language first. But of course, we are ready to do it in any language according to the request of the littoral countries. It's easy. We have in my secretariat every language, so I can do it easily in Bulgarian or one of the ladies in Georgian. So for us, it's very easy, even free of charge, we can do that. All right? So the first awareness raising campaign took place again during the pandemic, on 18th of January 2022. You can see the first photo with the kids with the mask. We helped, of course, with the help of Irem Hanım and Sarıyer municipality. The kit was presented to school kids age 8 from the local school. We got around 70 kids. And during the event, of course, end product T-shirts and toys were also that were produced from the collected fishing nets, and plastic litter have been also presented. So 2 more awareness raising campaigns have been organized this year in 2 of the schools in Istanbul, one in Beşiktaş on 23rd of April, and one in Maslak, you can see some photos, and one in Maslak on 10th of June. I would like to share that on the last photo here, you can see on your left side, you can see that what we did, of course, again with Sarıyer municipality help, our host municipality, we donated T-shirts and blankets on 1st of June, World Children's Day, which were produced from collected materials to kids in need, you know, from the poorest family. And this was very good because we have to do something, right, with the materials that we produced, and actually they were very happy. You see some photos. All right, what we did also, okay, this is a very good project, now I understood. What we did, we organized a regional essay competition for the youth, Saving Our Sea, New Ways to Reduce Marine Pollution in the Black Sea. You see the link, you go there and you can check all the deliverables from the essay competition. What I want to say here is that we did it with our partner, with ICBSS. We arranged this essay competition for all BSEC 13 member states, and we targeted this time high school students. So the competition was launched in July 2021, and by the end of October we received around 300 essays, and we were thinking, oh my gosh, what we are going to do with 300 essays? I expected 10 to 15 maximum, but they came, 300. You cannot imagine. This was excellent collection of good ideas from high school students. So it took us some time how to arrange this, how to manage in a proper manner, you know, not to, to appreciate every attempt from the younger generation. So what we did, we of course hired some university professors to help us to go through all the essays. Anyway, at the end of the day, we announced in early November 2021 the results, and since there were some money available for that, the first 3 essays have been awarded with 1,000 euro, 500 and 300 euros. So, and the kids, of course, we were very happy. The 10 best essays have been published in a book, and it's ready. It's in August 2022, and we started disseminating it, presenting it for awareness raising purposes in targeted BSEC member states. And of course, you can see, as I told you, the link to the essay competition, how it went. It was very nice event, also for the secretariat, because we started, somehow we started understanding that it's really need to do something in regard to marine litter and to push more in that particular element. Here, the third element of our method of implementation is related to highlighting the results of the project and building a coalition of municipalities along the Black Sea coastline interested to tackle marine litter locally. We created a very nice short video for awareness raising purposes, and the video, of course, it's ready, and I want to show you. It's only 2 minutes, but you see the whole process that I was already talking about. I hope you like it. It took me 5 months to prepare this video, but okay, you know, at the end, the result is here. I hope you like it. It's only 2 minutes, so in order not to bother the viewers. All right, I would like to finish with, at least this part, with the third element actually under our method of implementation, which is related exactly as I told you, building a coalition of municipalities and to tackle marine litter. And here I would like to mention that we are going to organize a regional conference on highlighting the results of the action and to encourage further pollution prevention action in the Black Sea based on the already experience gained. We are going to have next week in Athens the final conference of the project, which is going to be present not only the results of the Black Sea REACT, but also the results of other 2 projects, Black Sea Culture for Youth project and the cruise project, boating project, all right? So, and of course, I would like to share with you that since we had already some deliverables, we started immediately presenting at different activities and events that were, the Secretariat was present during the Bridge BC meeting that we had end of September. We had a stand with some materials as well. In Greece, during the Council of Europe annual meeting, where BSEC and ICBSS had a joint stand, we also present some of the booklets, some of the deliverables from the project. And we are planning also an event in Georgia on 1st of December, where we are going to talk about projects, and we will meet with some of the local also authorities to see how we can continue further. Of course, I would like to say that Bulgarian the representative from Hellenic Republic as well as from Georgia will be with us, and many other, of course, of the BSEC member states will be with us next week in Athens. So you are most welcome to come. It's in-person event on 23rd November. What I want also to show you before concluding, I want to show you 2 photographs that are really says more than 1,000 words and won't concern the seriousness of marine pollution. You remember this from the video. These images are work of the British photographer Carl Taylor, who has given us his permission to use them during the promotion of our projects concerning marine pollution in the Black Sea. These are 2 exquisite images. I will show you this one as well, with an innocent baby in an ocean of litter and garbage, which we so selfishly throw in our oceans and sea. At the same time, we in the BSEC Secretariat hope that those images can inspire all of us to do more today for combating marine litter in the Black Sea. Wishing you every success in today's deliverables. I thank you for reacting, as we say in our project. Thank you.
I now give the floor to Ms. Fedra Francocci, presenting an example from different marine basins, Blue Med.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this kind invitation, and good morning to all of you here in presence and those that are following us online. I would like to thank again the organizers for this kind invitation and congrats for this high level and interesting event. And I'm glad to present you and share with you, if you share the presentation, please, and if I manage to, to manage it from here. I'm Fedra Francocci, I'm a researcher at the National Research Council of Italy, and it's my pleasure to tell you about some results achieved during the Blue Med initiative, in particular on the pilot action on a plastic-free, healthy Mediterranean Sea. Of course, you should know, and I know I don't go into details of the Blue Med initiative, but it's an initiative that is started in 2014, and that reached in this more than almost 10 years some milestones that are a shared SRIA among the countries, among the Mediterranean countries, and that released a common implementation plan 2 years ago. Among the action, so implementing in this 10 years, there is the pilot action for a healthy plastic-free Mediterranean Sea that comes for one reason. We are all aware about the problem, and yesterday and also today the speaker very nicely and comprehensively introduced you the asset and the impact on plastic pollution. And when it comes to the Mediterranean Sea, that is just representing the 1% of the total oceanic area in the world, it comes and brings highly valued assets for touristic reason, for biodiversity, or 100 of UNESCO sites and marine protected area, but it also represents an area that is highly used. And when it's highly used, it's also highly impacted. So again, it's 1% of the total oceanic area, but it concentrates the 7% of the total microplastics. And this comes with for different reasons. I'm not going into detail of this, but because I'm now telling you about the process of approaching and trying to find shared solution. So, as I said, as anticipated, so BlueMed shared a common vision for a better known, valued, and protected Mediterranean Sea. So it's summarized in 13 goals, main priority action, and I'm just highlighting one of those I would like to detail more today. So, of course, the agenda recognizes that pollution, it's to address pollution and mitigate the impacts to prevent for further pollutant action is one of the priorities that comes to action devoted to the adaptation to climate change. And of course, it brings together the capacity and blue skills to be built together in the Mediterranean area. And this comes by developing synergies that, as said yesterday, it's one of the most used words that all the speakers announced yesterday, so synergies. And synergies among different typology of stakeholders. So everyone could take a role and act in order to address priority goals in the Mediterranean, in particular against pollution. So I'm referring to the science world, to the industry, policymaker, and society as a whole. So now going into detail. So the BlueMed pilot recognized so all the countries of the BlueMed initiative recognize as a priority to develop joint action to fight plastic and to find solution. And the methodology we used was to identify among the different countries the key priorities and good practice to be shared. The idea was to implement those findings, those solutions that we learned, some of those yesterday and just today, the speaker before me, and how to implement this solution on the field, but not country by country, but using an holistic approach and a shared approach, because of course pollution and the sea has no barriers, so we should act together. In practical terms, we mapped among 11 countries of the basin the best practice, which are the best practice. So the breakthrough technology, but together with other approaches more comprehensively, so not only technological approach, but also governance, policy, methodology that has an impact on preventing and reducing pollution, plastic pollution at sea. Then connect those actors, those actions within the country, but also among the different countries. And to be effective, we look forward, so how to build synergies and partnership to really implement, not today, but in the long term, and how to promote local and basin cooperation to reach this goal. To do that, we start first by knowledge. So look within the box, which are our expertise, what we have already implemented, what we already know. This is just an example. I show you here the hub. So we called all the group at country level the national hub. We look at our resources inside, and we categorize five different, okay, I don't know if I can use the pointer, but in any case, you see on the left the monitoring and assessment approaches, all the project and initiative aimed to preventing marine litter or based on the circular economy approach that you also learned yesterday and today, the collection and valorization of waste from sea and rivers, of course, but also all these activities that come together with the more technological approach that are related to the education, the training that is very important as we learn in these days, but also communication activities aimed to increase awareness. Then, last but not least, the policy and regulatory framework that is really the core for also implementing on a big scale the activities. So this is how we divided action with respect to these categories. So we really reach a lot of results, and this is just one example of one of the stakeholders of the Italian hub, the Corepla, that is the association of collectors of plastic and plastic waste in all Italian cities and every day during the year. So what they propose, it's a method of collection of waste at sea and at the river level. But the approach that they use looks at the whole value chain, so by collection to valorization. And this is just an example of a shelter made with the waste just coming from the Po River. So they implemented solution and the data that we reach. So it's not only a concrete action, but we also learned a lot in terms of scientific data by comparing the results in different areas. But who are our stakeholders? So this is just an example to give you the overview. Of course, we have a number of university and research center, but of course, there are association of categories. For example, Federpesca, Confindustria, so the business or the fishermen. But we also have the environmental association, so volunteers that deal with the people, with citizens at all different levels. We have the national clusters, so this is the kind of actors we need to implement solution. Just to give you another example, and I look to the HCMR colleagues, these are just to give you an overview of the activities that we mapped that are ongoing as action related to the cleanups or at the beach level or underwater level. And this also, to give you, yes, this comes, thank you, Baris and Pinar, and this comes with the Turkish Hub and reveal how the research part, the research and the innovation solution are really the one that we want to implement at basin level. So now look forward. Now that we learned a lot, and we need to connect the actors to promote joint partnership and implement solution under the Blue Med umbrella. How we approach this? By putting together the actors and by promoting a shared vision. So we organize a number of events at the basin level. Some of those in the biggest circular economy exhibition that is named Ecomondo, that is held in Italy, and that brings together the plastic producer. So again, the sectorial approach. We invited the plastic producer the first time. Now we look at the different sectors, so which is the potential of improving the managing at ports and harbors, and help them and support them in preventing and reducing the effect of marine litter. So this is something that we learned in a joint event organized with Spanish and Italian Association of Fishermen, but also by looking and inviting a number of Mediterranean ports. And that has been very impactful. Of course, as Elisabetta and Siggy anticipated yesterday, we are now moving towards the lighthouse for the Mediterranean, and of course, to be in line with the Charter and to look at what the mission is paving the way for the Mediterranean and for all the European seas. It's really our target. And we discuss in different meetings and events up to last week in Ecomondo. And again, not only with the plastic producer that you can see at the bottom of the slides here, but also discussing with the main actors and in order to really bring together and join forces among the already existing initiatives, projects, but also by bringing on board new actors that could have an impact to reach the common aim of the mission, Ocean. So, coming back to the BlueMed pilot, thank you. We are really proud of the work of the BlueMed Young Ambassadors that, of course, deal with many different topics of the BlueMed, but they concentrated a lot of effort on the plastic issue. And within the activities developed together with the young ambassadors, this is just an example of the one activities that we proposed last year, that is the BlueMed Hackathon. We proposed 3 different topics to the young people coming from different countries and continents. And so they joined us to be trained and to develop different projects, innovative projects that then was proposed during the Ecomondo exhibition last year. So they've been working together in a multidisciplinary and in a multidisciplinary team, and they have been trained in order to develop their business idea. So I'm going to conclude, and this is just an activity that we made a few weeks ago, just to highlight what is ongoing, that we are also part of the implementation of the plastic pirates, for example, in Italy, and we are active not only at sea level, but at river. So what's next? We learned a lot within these years. And if I think to what Siggy said yesterday on the diamonds that you can see here on the right, these are the actors. And this is what we need to implement the mission at basin level. So we are going to start the Mediterranean Lighthouse on January next year, and as CNR, we are coordinated together with Professor Fabio Fava, the Mediterranean Lighthouse, supporting the mission Restore Our Ocean and Waters. So I left you with this image, and I really hope to collaborate and to learn more about all these very interesting activities, and of course I'm here for any question. Thanks again. Thank you.
Fedra. introducing Maelstrom, smart technology for marine litter sustainable removal and management. I give the floor to Luis Vieira.
Thank you. Good morning to all. I take the opportunity to thank the organization for the kind invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. And on behalf of scientific coordinator and all the team, I'll go to present Maelstrom project. This project is entitled Smart Technology for Marine Litter Sustainable Removal and Management, and brings together a team from 14 partners, including NGOs, research centers, experts in robotics from 8 European countries, united together in a common mission to propose new approaches to tackle marine litter. Maelstrom is based in 4 main pillars: to identify, remove, recycle, and valorize marine litter. Specifically, we intend to localize hotspots, to characterize marine litter from the surface to the bottom, and then to collect, sort, transform, and bring the marine litter to new products, so back to the market chain. Maelstrom is divided in 5 main specific objectives. First, to assess the effectiveness of our removal technologies, then to remove the marine litter and feed the circular economy. Then we'll try to contribute to the effective blue technologies for joint plastic strategy, and all these 4 main specific objectives only make sense if we involve community. So the last objective is to engage society for marine litter prevention, removal, and circular economy. So starting with the first objective, the first task was to perform a first assessment on the sources of marine litter through extensive reviewing work. 2 demo sites were identified and selected, one in Portugal, in the north, in Ave River estuary, and a second one in Venice coastal lagoon area in Italy. The second task was to perform environmental assessment before the implementation of these technologies. Of course, this approach will be repeated after the implementation of the technologies to assess the ecosystem state and the possible impacts of these technologies. And we proposed the implementation of 2 technologies. One that is already implemented in Venice, a seafloor cleaning platform, and another one, a bubble barrier, that is being implemented in Portugal. And starting with the first one, the seabed cleaning platform was developed by our partner, Tecnalia. Here we have a general concept. It has a separation system, a gripper that are controlled by 4 cables, and we have here some pictures of the implementation. But we can also advance to a small video to understand how this technology works. So this cable robot has a capacity of more 100 kilos to remove litter, and it was optimized to minimize the impacts of the seafloor ecosystem. As you go to see, it has several multiple cameras and sensors to help the intelligence or artificial intelligence that is also being implemented in this technology to identify marine litter in the bottom. Here's some images from the implementation of the first test during last September in Venice. So it started with optimization by manual control, and it evolved to more automatic control. Here we have some images from the bottom and sensors to improve the perception of marine litter detection. And here we have one of the first items. In this case was a truck tire. And now moving to the other technology, the bubble barrier that is being implemented in the north of Portugal. We are finalizing the process, so everything is scheduled to start implementation in the beginning of the next year. And also a short video to understand how this technology works. We have the original one in Netherlands. And in general, it's a bubble barrier that is installed in a diagonal way in the rivers. In the case of Portugal, we installed it in an estuary. And this bubble curtain brings the litter to the surface that is directed to a catchment system that is placed in one of the margins. To minimize the impacts of energy consumption, the Maelstrom version will also include both floating and on-land solar panels. It's important to highlight that very recently our partners from the Greater Bubble Barrier were nominated as finalists for the Earthshot Prize of this year, so we'll have probably, we hope, good news in the beginning of December. The next step is to feed the circular economy. Just here, a concept of Maelstrom recycling system. It includes both manual and automatic process to sort litter, and also classical and new techniques to transform this litter in new materials. Regarding the automatic separation, our colleagues from Technalia also designed and will be implemented artificial intelligence driver robotic system to separate plastics from the other items of marine litter. Just an example of an already applied circular economy by our colleagues from GIS Recycle. So they made a table of recycled fish nets that were collected during our cleanup activities. So we expect that at least part of the litter that will be collected from our technologies can also contribute for the production of these materials. We are implementing two technologies, but we also developed an app. It's a smartphone app that has several modules to characterize, collect, and track marine litter. And it has also included a very interesting for citizens new model that is cleanup model that allows each citizen during cleanup activities to photograph, identify, and georeference each item. It was tested successfully by the Portuguese and Italian teams during the last year. It was demonstrated during the last United Nations conference in Lisbon. And all the data from professionals and citizens is stored in a server and can be uploaded to Edmonet chemistry portal. So here, beside the researchers and other professionals, we can identify here a real citizen science approach. So we also want to contribute for the joint strategy for plastics. And we developed from the beginning an interactive forum that is already available in the website and running. So I take the opportunity to invite you all to register and to also make part of this community and think tank. This forum has some key topics related, of course, marine litter research, initiatives and policies happening in European space and beyond. We also organize several international workshops. So in the first 2 years, we have more 2 years in the project now, we are in the middle. We organized two workshops in Venice during the International Boat Show and 2 international webinars. We intend to organize at least webinars per year, so they will be announced in the website, so the next one will be in December. So the first one had this inspiring title and reunited from very local and regional entities to global ones, as the BlueMed initiative and also WWF. The second one was more related with the build capacity workshop. and was jointly organized with our colleagues, a sister project from Inoplastic and also Reliance. Maelstrom is also contributing to the European mission. So it was already part of LUMED initiative, already presented by Fedra, and we joined the mission charter. We also participated and contributed in the first EU mission to restore our oceans and waters that held during the last conference in Lisbon. Within this conference, we also take the opportunity to submit a policy brief. It was already available online in the United Nations portal. And of course, during this UNOC event, we also organized several side events, a special one dedicated to local regional governments. We organized several demonstrations in the area of the conference, demonstrations of technologies, and we were invited to be integrated in this special side event on marine litter monitoring action that was organized by UNEP, Air Center, and Blue Center. And of course, a very important task, already highlighted yesterday by Sigi, that is to engage society. So for that, we organize per year at least 3 large-scale cleanups. We produced 3 plastic whales, here an example, the Portuguese version, that was offered by our Italian partners for awareness activities. We produced information for social media, several dissemination activities in schools, and we organized dedicated workshops with several key stakeholders, from community to decision makers. And we have here an example how we organize our cleanups. We try to be always multi-sectorial. So we will invite from politicians to several companies to co-organize this cleanup with us. So we had the opportunity to include, beside the cleanup event, that is important, but also capacity building workshops and technologies demonstration during these activities. And of course, we also are working with very responsible activists, as the famous trash traveler. Our motto, I think was the first. Our motto is to remove, recycle, give it a new use, and repeat this process. For the planet, for us, and especially for them, I think we are in the same boat, in a joint mission, and we invite you all to make also part of this think tank, our forum, and our community. Thank you for your attention.
Very nice motto. This concludes the first part of the good practices session, and I thank you to all of the speakers for the innovative actions presented, and it is the time for asking questions if you have any. First, I would like to remind you that also the coordinator of Maelstrom is online, Ms. Fatma Madricardo, and maybe she could also take questions, if any. So.
Thank you. Right, I have a question and a comment. My question is mainly to Luis. You said you're cleaning the beach using the exact location and everything through an application. How do these connect to the European Environment Agency Marine Litter Watch application? And I'm asking that because the projects are there, but when they finish, everything is lost. So you have to make some provisions. The information that you get is still there when the project is not longer a project. And my comment is about also the policy brief, because it could be, I don't know, how do you measure the success of the policy brief? because we produce in projects policy briefs, but the success counts if this policy brief is used. And I haven't seen in my life, at least, to be used quite heavily. I mean, we produce things, but we produce our own things, and not this, there is a barrier between how do we write and how do they read. Can you reply to both of them? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your comment and question. Starting with the question, this Maelstrom map was developed to be beyond the project, so we hope that very soon it can be available in both for Androids and for iPhones in the specific stores. And the data from citizens and from professionals is firstly stored in our server. So after scientific validation can be uploaded to Edmonet. I don't know if I answered to the question, so. And in relation to the policy brief, we have the opportunity to submit it, to accept it, and it was online, but we intend to make a follow-up for the next conference that will be in New York, related with the water, so everything also about the project. Of course, we have this first document. This will be part of our forum, both workshops, webinars, and discussion in forum work together as a think tank. So we intend very soon to open a specific topic on the forum to discuss this process. And both results or follow-ups after this brief and the think tank will be part of a very important deliverable for the end of project that we intend to produce guidelines on the best practices. So there are several ways to perform the follow-up of this policy brief to communities and also for policymakers that we try to involve at high level during our participation and collaboration in the United Nations events, but also at the international level within our webinars, and also national level and the regional level for the implementation of technologies, and also to scale up these technologies after the project. That's another secondary objective, but a very important one.
Thank you very much for all your presentation and deep exploration. My question is referring to Mrs. Stoeva. You mentioned that you have cooperation with Georgia side, yes, and you're planning some activities. So may I know which organization this Georgian organization, and specifically what activities are you planning?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Indeed, we already, under the Culture for Youth project, we had a very good, I told you, there are 3 projects actually that we are running under this, that we are implementing under this grant. And one of the project is related to Culture for Youth, youth entrepreneurship in cultural in coastal municipalities of the Black Sea region. We had a very good workshop in actually our 2 of pilot municipalities are Mersin and Batumi. So we already did event in Batumi in February 2020, and with Ajara local authority. Of course, we will have one of the representatives with us next week in Athens. At the same time, and of course, we will present the results under the this particular project, Culture for Youth. At the same time, we were planning with to go on 1st of December in Tbilisi and to continue talking with the local, let's say, government to see what we can do and implement a bit of, to do some actions related to marine litter and their deliverables. There are already books, there are already experience that is gained. So the plan is to continue further. Of course, we will see how we are going to do with the money, but at least we have already some good practices that we want to share, and the idea is exactly to continue further. We are really ready to continue and to involve more littoral municipalities from the littoral countries. Right? So Georgia is in the plan. In any case, we have good collaboration with Ajara region as well as with Tbilisi, the capital. So we will continue to work with them and to do something concrete on there. So did I cover your request?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Yeah, great session. Thank you, all of you. I have a question to Fedra. Although I know the answer a little bit, maybe that's for the audience. You have heard about the Black Seas Plastic Initiative, different ones, and of course we are always looking to BlueMed for new examples and for new developments from your side. So in the new phase of these lighthouses with the Mediterranean and Danube, how do you see the cooperation with the Black Sea zero pollution initiatives will evolve in the next 3 years? Thanks.
Well, thank you for the question. Yes, of course, I see collaboration in many different aspects and mutual learning too, because it's very interesting what you are already achieved, and the process of transferring and promoting joint action at a local level and bring and share this good practice would be really the starting phase. So bring actors together. So join forces to promote common action and mutual learning. So definitely, I think that starting from the starting project, but we already started. I mean this collaboration, and maybe Sigi would like to add something on this.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, congratulations, very interesting session. And I just want to reinforce, Fedra, what you said. I think from the Commission side, from the side of my colleagues, definitively there needs to be a very structured connection, really to leverage all the things that have been done. And for that reason, and I know that Malmström has already endorsed the Charter, and congratulations for that. I invite really everyone to endorse the Charter, because that will be as well the connecting point very easily. And that will be the way that you are all pulled into. And we hope you are, because you have so many interesting activities. Rosita just outlined them as well. So please do that. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you. Great session. Thanks, Rosita, Fedra. I know very well, of course, what you are doing. So I have a question for Luis. Very interesting talk, Luis, and it's a bit technical, but really drove our attention, this bubble barrier that you have shown. And I was wondering if only aggregates the microplastic, or it also aggregates like marine snow, phytoplankton aggregates, because this kind of a technique was also discussed in Marmara during the mucilage event. If it would help oxygenate the water, but also help bring the deeper aggregates of mucilage into the surface so it can be collected. So I don't know if you may have any ideas on that. Yeah.
we'll have. And thank you for your question. The original one, we have some data. So for the big aquatic life as fish, there will be no significant impacts. But you pointed very interesting and important that are plankton, ichthyoplankton, and phytoplankton. We performed ecological assessment before the implementation, and we also include, of course, microplastics. I'm a plantologist, so we work also, we have some data on phytoplankton and zooplankton, ichthyoplankton also, and we'll go to evaluate the impacts of this technology after, so it's an independent evaluation. But the catchment system has some, is not completely closed in the bottom. So the technology is specifically or specially designed for big items, so macro litter, but it can, I think, from the data we have, to catch some items up to 5 centimeters, so on the limits of microplastics, but it's not specially designed for microplastics. And the bottom is not completely closed, so it has a grid to allow, because the plankton, by definition, cannot fight against the currents, especially for the bubbles. And the catchment system has some grid to allow to free all these planktonic organisms. But that's one of the important tasks of the project, is to make the assessment and the impacts and the optimization needed for these technologies very after the implementation and first steps after the implementation.
And one more additional question about this bubble barrier, taking into account prices for energy. Is this system affordable now? Because perhaps we need a pump with energy or not?
Yes, it has a compressor, but this version will have a new generation compressor, so more efficient. But we are also implementing now both solar panels on land and also like a sub-project inside the project that is being performed by the University of Malta, that are solar panels in the same structure of the catchment system. So we hope to decrease the impacts in terms of energy at least 40% at the beginning, but we are working with our main stakeholders, local stakeholders, that are municipality, to increase the implementation and the items of solar panels to, after a first evaluation on the energy costs, to try to decrease that impact. But this version will have also both floating and on-land solar panels to tackle that possible issue.
Thank you. And thank you again for being here and for your very interesting presentations. And I wish you success in continuing these best practices.
Thank you.
Now it's time for coffee break, and we'll be back at 10:45. Thank you.